Hi guys, it's Nikki from Polkadoodles. I've been asked loads of times to just do a little video to show you how to make this sample that I had, and I've just realised I don't actually have it with me, but anyway, never mind. This is a bit ad hoc. I'm just doing it when I've got a spare 10 minutes. So basically, I've got here just a piece of blank A4 card, and it's probably about, I don't know, maybe like a 250, something like that. I don't think it's any heavier than that. So it's just A4, just fold it in half. And basically I'm going to be using our new stamps, which are from the Daisy Days in the summertime. So what I'm going to do, I've got some post-it notes here. And all I've done is it's just a standard post-it note pad, and I just took a couple of sheets, and where the sticky is down this side, basically you just want to tear into the sticky. So you just kind of like roughly, you can do two together, it doesn't matter, just tear them off like that, just really rough. Okay, and then that's kind of going to be our mask. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it slightly different. No, I'll do it as I had it originally. So we're going to actually put those across here. So just match them up and try and do it sort of more or less straight. I did do this with like a slanted line, but when I kind of did it like that, I found that it kind of looked like it was just a bit off, rather than it being kind of arty, which was what I wanted. Okay. Right, so we've got that area masked off now. So really simple, you can see what's going to happen straight away, and you just get a really, really nice effect doing it this way. So I've got my acrylic block, and as I said, I'm going to use I was going to use the summertime stamps, but I'm going to use the Daisy. I haven't got my summertime ones with me, I don't know where they've gone. So what I'll do is I'm just going to use just random stamps, and this is really quick to do. It looks really effective. Versamark ink pad. Don't worry about your Versamark getting really grotty and horrible, because actually I quite like it when you stamp. When I stamp onto white card, I don't know if you can pick it up on the video, but basically I can see, because I've got a very light stain off my ink pad. You can actually get stained ink pads. They're not called Versamark, I can't remember what they're called now, but basically you can get a pink one and a blue one, and it just basically does the same thing. So just a couple of stamps, and I've got a butterfly here, so I might just put a butterfly in there as well, just to add a bit of interest. So, and also the other thing is, when you're you know, I sometimes find we're all kind of obsessed about keeping everything really neat and clean and tidy, and actually sometimes the things that you think, you know, like this is a really old pad, but actually it's going to work quite well. I've got some little tiny like little dotty bubbles here, and I'm just going to put them in as well, just a couple, just to fill in a couple of gaps. You can see that actually, as I was stamping, I've made sure I've gone off the edges. You must do that. If you know, one of the things that I see quite often is where someone's just kind of stamped right into the middle of something, and you know, it looks okay, but trust me, it looks miles better if you stamp off the edges. Now I'm using a white embossing powder, and this one, I really like this. This is one of Sheena Douglas's powders, and it's bright white, super fine. And the reason I like to use super fine ink, so when I use like my when I'm actually black inking, I use the VersaFine ink pad, and I like to always try and use a super fine embossing powder. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Just one sec. If I don't tip it away, I'll end up knocking it. Okay. So thanks, Sheena, for that one. So I've got my stamped image here, and I'm just going to quickly heat this with a heat gun. And what I've just noticed is I've got a few little doobraries here, which is like leftover powder. Just going to get that off. Now, what you don't want to do when you heat embossing is wave your heat gun around like this. And also, what I would say is I have two different heat tools. I've got this one, which is a Ranger one, and this is actually my preferred one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to heat from the bottom. And doing this from the bottom basically means that I get more of a mirror finish on my embossing powder. So it kind of like doesn't get quite so many bubbles in it. But there's nothing wrong with doing it from the top. It depends, you tend to get like some little bubbles and things when you do it from the top. You get more of a glass finish when you do it underneath. It's just from where the heat is at, the, you know, like the actual air is kind of affecting the powder as you do it. And just, you know, stay in one place. And if you actually kind of move what you're doing, you can actually see it shining in the light when it actually heats and sets. So, and by doing it that way, I'm just going to have to tilt this so I can see what I'm doing. You don't actually overheat it, because if you overheat it, the emboss will actually sink into the card or paper, and then you don't get quite as good an effect. It'll still work, but it just doesn't look so nice. Okay, so that's now done. You can touch it, it's fine. Just leave it a couple of seconds, because sometimes you can smudge it. Okay, so that in itself actually looks quite nice. And if we actually took that away, it would look quite effective. But what I want to do today is I'm going to use my new best friends, which are the Kuretake Gansai Tambi. And these, it's pronounced Gansai Tambi, Tambi. And these are actually a watercolour paint. And these are brand new. I'm talking in June 2016, so these have literally only just kind of been out about a month or so. And these little pans of colour, if you turn them over, they've actually have the name of it or the number on the underneath. And there actually is another palette of Gansai Tambi, which are just amazing. I'll show you these, which come in this stunning box. So basically, excuse me getting this dirty. I've got friends that will kill me for that. But basically, they come in this really, really nice palette box. And there's 36 colours in here. You can get them in 12s and stuff as well. And what I really like is each one of these... Sorry, you can't see me on camera. Each one of these comes out. So when you've actually used all that colour, you can buy the replacement colour. You don't have to buy a whole new set. Really nice. But the really great thing about these that I've never experienced before with... I'm not a watercolourist and I'm not an expert in watercolour by any means. But what I really love about these is they're very, very opaque. And they work really well on black card of all things. And I would never in a million years expect a watercolour to work on black. So just to prove that they work on black, I'm going to actually show you. So I've just got some water here. So this is one of my favourite colours. And I'm just going to, just for effect. Now, they're so opaque. You can, you know, obviously it depends how much water you actually add into them. And the other thing that I really like about these as well, because they're in these little pans, they dry quite quickly. So you tend not to add too much water. I mean, you can really soak them if you want to. But I find that they're really clean to work with. When I've had watercolour paints before, I found that I've just ended up getting it everywhere. And I'm quite messy as a crafter, and I kind of tend to dip in and out of things, so as you all know. But look how much that's showing up on black card. If I just hold that further up for you so that you can see it. Can you see how opaque that actually is? Obviously, if I added loads more water, you know, then we would start getting a different effect. But you know, it'd be more translucent. But I just love that you can get really, really nice effects, and you can layer up. It means you can layer up your colours really well. So what I want to do, I'm just going to swap over to my other paintbrush because it's a bit bigger. Now I've also had lots of comments about this paintbrush. This paintbrush is pure squirrel hair. And, well, I presume it's pure squirrel. It's called a pure squirrel, so I'm presuming it's a squirrel hair brush. And it's by Winsor & Newton. I have to say, it's not the cheapest brush in the world. It was £11. But it's a proper watercolour brush. And what you find is that it holds the water really, really well. So if I just show you, look how I can dip that in there and it doesn't actually really drip off that much. If that was like more of a synthetic brush, it wouldn't actually hold. And that brush is really loaded with water. So if I actually put that over into my paints now, it just literally, it's like literally pouring water on top. You see that kind of moving around. So anyway, I just love this brush. There's a reason why we have, I always think with like arty things, when you start getting into mediums and paints and stuff, don't get me wrong, there's some really good craft brands out there, but you kind of do get what you pay for. And the same with your tools and things. So I'm just going to, I've wet these, so I'm just going to work this brush in, and you'll see why I love this brush so much. If I move this around, look how it just actually absorbs that paint. Look, I can literally pick it up and the whole of my brush is loaded. And I have to say, this is the best paintbrush I've ever bought, and I've never had one like this. So I just want to dab onto here. And I actually end up with way too much paint. So just don't waste that, let it go back in. And then just kind of like move this around a bit. Just flop it around, just do what you want, really. You know, there's no great technique or anything like that. And then I'm going to go into like a much lighter gold. This is nice, this is champagne. So again, just dab that in. And what I actually like to do, this is what I tend to do, so you could dab it if you want to, but what I really like to do, because I find you get a much better, it becomes more of a natural effect, is just go back to being a kid. You know, we all did this at school. Everyone thinks I'm doing like some amazing technique, and it's not. It's something, you know, we've all done in the past. Okay, and then just if you want more of a colour, just fill that in. And what you'll find is, because it is still wet, you can actually really get some, there's a really nice gold. This is called red gold, I think. And basically in this Starry Colours palette, oh, look at that, it's lovely. In this Starry Colours palette, it's basically different, mainly different golds, but, well, it is different golds. You've got blue, red, yellow gold, champagne, light gold, and white gold, which kind of comes out like a pearlescent. So just mix them together. And I don't want to colour in these butterflies. Now what I'm going to do is I just want to show you what happens. If you actually, you know, I tend to like go in with my fingers a little bit and just move it around, but I mean, it's up to you. And if you have too much paint and you want to take some out, just take it out with a dry tissue. Okay, so I'm just going to dry that off, and it kind of gives me a bit of an underlayer, if you like. You won't be able to see that very much on there, but I'm going to just add a little bit more in, because I just want to be a bit more specific with the colours that I kind of use. Oops. I want to put in this blue gold, because this is really nice. And I've actually added a lot more paint here than I did on the other one that I did that some of you saw. It was, I was going to demo this on TV, and then I thought it might take a bit too long, which it probably would. So what I'm going to do is just dry that off a little bit. And these paints, I have to say, they dry fine with a heat gun, but because I've actually heat embossed this, it's not ideal. And what I would do in real life is actually let these dry by themselves, and if you let them dry naturally, they pool and you get a much nicer finish than doing it with the heat gun. But obviously I haven't got time with the video. It's a bit stupid not having the original sample with me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to my 36 palette, because in here I also have these two colours, and this is a pearlescent and this is a white, and I just want to pull in the white. So I'm just going to wet that. You can see how amazing this brush is, look. And you can actually, although this brush is massive, you can get a really fine little point, not with wet paint, but you can actually get quite a fine point. And I'm just going to run that along the edge of where I've masked a bit as well. Just want those little dots. And this would be really nice for doing like your Christmas kind of things as well. So just again, blast that off. Don't worry about these palettes. And then if you just, look what happens if you actually just get your finger in and just kind of like manipulate that colour a little bit. And it kind of, what's the word? Diffuses the ink, the paint. So, let me just move that out of the way. We're just about dry. So, just because I don't want this to take forever, I'm going to now remove these masks. And look what you've got. It's amazing. It's just so nice. And basically that's your finished card. And literally all you need to do with that is to just put some kind of a sentiment on. You could put a die cut on there if you wanted to. The other thing I do like to do, that I did on my other one, and it was really, really nice. It was quite effective. Just quickly, you see here I've got kind of like a little bit of mess going on. Just drag some more of that white to kind of give yourself a bit of a border. And again, you know, who would have thought that, you know, white watercolour paint is going to work on black card? But it does. They're just so rich and opaque. They're really, really lovely. And as a crafter, these paints kind of fulfill everything I want. They're actually virtually an acrylic in terms of like the opacity that they give you. And I can actually see myself not really need, I know it won't happen because as crafters we want everything anyway, but I can see myself not actually really buying any of the paints now. I think I hope they bring out more colours, although the colours that they've got are really nice. So look, just to kind of make it look like it's intentional, that it's a bit raggedy, just go back and do a few little random dots here and there, and then go in again, and just, if you feel like you need to add a little bit more, just add a little bit more, and there you go. So really easy card to make. So Bella, you keep saying about the simple word, but it really is simple. It just takes, you know, what's that, 10 minutes? So I hope you found that really useful. I'm going to do another video in a second showing you a different way to do this with a different medium, but look at how metallic those paints are. They're amazing. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I will see you soon. Bye.